So
What we got?
Alec Anderson posted on Instagram that he had surgery.
He had a little procedure, yeah.
What was the injury?
I don't know exactly.
Some kind of leg or foot thing?
It was his leg.
Okay.
So
Is he?
it seems like the Turner said it's nothing serious, so he's back right now rehabbing, so don't anticipate any long-term issues with Alec.
But probably out for the opener.
No idea about that, but it's 15 days from now, so we don't really know. So
Seems like quite a few guys are dinged up right now. Does it feel like it's getting to be a bit much with the
No.
yellow jerseys and guys out?
no, not at all. This is one of the best camps we've had. I think we had 4 or 5 guys, which is to be expected when you have 110. So I would say percentage-wise, it's not very high at all, to be honest with you.
We saw Kaz in a yellow jersey yesterday too.
He just tweaked his ankle. He should be fine. So.
Did Sean Ryan work with the ones on the offensive line with?
I think
Alec.
Justin's rotating everybody, so I don't even look to see who's in what group, and we're running 3 groups, and everybody gets equal amount of reps. So Sean's run with the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and Zach Cochran's run with the 1s and the 2s and the 3s, and Alec Anderson has run with the 1s and the 2s and the 3s. So that part's not concerning us. We're just trying to grow everybody and get them quality reps so we can coach them off the film. So.
Who are you trying to grow at center with Sam Marazzo at?
Well, Sam wasn't a center. Sam was playing guard for us. So Duke Clemens is playing there. John Gaines is playing there. Mike Alves has played there. Boss has played there. So we got 4 guys rotating through.
How's Duke doing at that
Duke's
position?
doing really good. Duke's a sharp young guy that was a multi-sport kid coming out of Hawaii. Played 4 sports actually in high school, which is kind of a rarity in nowadays. But has picked up very well quickly on what we're trying to do from a schematic standpoint. Really smart kid. So Duke's been a real nice addition. So I know Justin's really happy with him.
With these guys in yellow jerseys, is there a day before the opener that you want guys back full go, or does that not matter?
We haven't even thought. We're concerned with having a really good Wednesday. So that's what we're a micro operation, not a macro operation. So, but a kid that tweaks his ankle and is out for a day isn't a real big concern for us. You know what I mean? So I think you're making a lot bigger deal out of it than it really is. So. The only kid who won't be available for the opening game is Tyree. Besides that, I'm not concerned with anybody else, to be honest with you.
Alec could play in the opener?
I don't know.
Okay. The other day, the players were saying that I guess the intensity level was not too high, and then that you asked them to go back and put on their pads. What did you see there?
No, that was our plan because we wanted to kind of scale back an individual, and then when we got the team, put them back on. So that was the plan.
You mentioned multi-sport athletes. Obviously, Otito has a lot of success on the
Yeah.
track field as well. How do you think that kind of carries over to the football field?
Well, I think just the explosion that he has. I mean, he's probably one of our most explosive players, and obviously a kid that throws a shot put over 70 feet can, you can see that explosion. And I think that's the one thing about Otito. He's a big person. He's about 330 pounds right now, but his explosion for someone that size is kind of a rare commodity. So I think that track background that he has been really beneficial to him as a football player, and I really think his work as a football player has been beneficial to him as a track guy. So I think it really goes hand in hand. He got an opportunity to participate in the Junior Pan Am Games in July, which is a real positive thing for him. I won a gold medal down there, so really excited that he's excelling at both sports right now.
Where do you think you've taken the biggest step from freshman to sophomore?
Just familiarity. Like almost every single one of those freshmen that played early in there, they just, it's not a first time for them. It's they feel really comfortable in the scheme, not waiting to get the call and understanding, kind of like situational football, like what's going to be called on third down. He knows the defenses that are available on the menu for third down and kind of anticipating what we're going to call. So another really smart kid, another really good student that has picked things up really quickly, but just a whole year of doing it, I think, has really helped Otito.
Martell closed the season strong last year. What have you seen as far as his continued development?
Yeah, I think he's gotten a lot faster. He really is probably one of our hardest working guys. The work he's done in the off season to get himself stronger, to get himself faster, has really benefited. And again, he just loves football, so he's out here every day just trying to get better. And special teams, he's really picked up his game. I know Coach Sage is really happy with where he is right now as a team's player. And I know Deshaun's really happy with where he is right now at running back. So I think, obviously we have Josh, who's one of the most talented guys in the country, but to have a couple guys with him, I think is going to help us in the long run. So,
How's Martin Andrews doing it?
Martin's doing really well. Martin had an unbelievable offseason. He's in the best shape of his life. I think he's a little bit, probably a step faster, a step quicker. while actually getting stronger. You can even ask him. I think he looks a little bit differently. He's really dedicated himself, and we're excited about where he is. Because obviously we want to rotate throughout our defensive line. To keep guys fresh, and with those young kids that played last year, plus the older kids like Martin and Osa, we feel like we're starting to get a good nucleus of kids across the defensive front.
One other guy to ask about, Stephen Mason. It seems like he's come pretty far.
Mace too. Mace is another kid. And all of them you keep talking about, they're a year in, because a ton of our guys were here a year ago, but they're still young. But just growing and learning and understanding what that transition from junior college to Power 5 football is all about. But hopefully another guy that will be able to jump into that rotation on the defensive line and contribute for us.
How has Jalen Irwin taken advantage of the other guys having a yellow shirt?
Yeah, he had zero advantage of that, because Jalen's getting the same amount of reps he would have, and we only have 2 kids in yellow shirts, and those kids are at the wide receiver spot, and those kids are actually getting reps. It's just Theo's not going to be in contact things, but Theo's repping full speed and a lot of things. We're just, obviously careful with his hand on what we're going to do with him. But Jalen, was really beneficial that he enrolled last January, so he's got a whole spring underneath his belt. He was green, I think, last spring, and now you would put him in the same category as Kyle and Chase and those guys, where he's kind of one of the seasoned veterans out there, bringing along Charles Njoko and Kane Madrano and some of the other younger receivers. But he's done a really nice job, and he's going to be a real valuable addition to us. So.
Given that you got a couple weeks for your first game, what do you want to get out of guys week to week?
Yeah, it's day to day. When can we be a little bit better on Wednesday than we were on Tuesday? And that incremental growth is what I think we're all looking for. When you get to week 2 of camp, the season itself is a ways away. And really what your focus needs to be on is micro. We keep getting questions about what's going to happen here and what's your depth chart. I have no idea what our depth chart's going to be in 2 weeks, and nor are we even focused on it. None of our coaches talk about it in the meetings. What we talk about is can we get a little bit better today? What's that one big thing that you're going to take into today's training session that we're going to really concentrate on, focus on, and see if we can get a little bit better on, and then go in, digest it, watch the film in the afternoon when the meetings with the coaches, correct some things in the walkthrough, install a couple things in that walkthrough, and then kind of rinse and repeat. That's what it gets to. So, if you're anybody and you're in preseason camp right now, it's kind of like Groundhog Day. You kind of wake up and do the same exact thing. You get up at the same time, you eat at the same time. We may be talking about different things in the meetings, but we're still doing that. So, you really kind of eat, meet, treat, and sleep. That's what camp is all about. And then as we get closer towards, the week of the Cincinnati game, we'll start to focus a little bit more on, their schemes and things like that. But both of our defense and our offense does a lot of similar things to what Cincinnati does. So that replication, it's not like we have to go 2-3 weeks early to replicate it. You're not playing Navy in the opening game where, wow, that's a drastically different offense than what we run. So we really got to get extra reps on that. So right now it's just how do we get better on a daily basis.
One more for them.
Yeah, I phrased this question poorly the other day, as I tend to do, but
That's okay. I answer poorly a lot too, so I think it goes hand in hand. So
I think what I meant to ask was, can you get recruiting where it needs to be without the bump of a winning season this year?
we like where recruiting is. I think what we do is try to find the right fits for this university, and it's a special university, and you have to find special people, because it's not just football. It's the academic component to it, it's a social component to it, and that's when you're successful in recruiting, is when you find the right fit for university, and that person may just be the right fit at this school, but he's not a right fit at another school. That doesn't mean he's not a good person or not a good player, but there's environments that certain kids flourish in, and that's why the cool part about our conference is all 12 schools are vastly different, and then they all have pluses and they all have minuses, and the coaches that are successful are the ones that recruit to what their school is all about, both on and off the field, because that's a huge component. Because you can bring a kid in here that's, oh my God, he's as good a football player as we've seen, but he's going to struggle academically. If he struggles academically, he's not having success off the field, then it's going to eventually affect him on the field, because everything goes hand in hand. You're recruiting a whole person. You're not just recruiting one aspect of him. So I think that's the part that I think if you're going to be successful in recruiting is finding the right fit, and that's what we're always striving to do. So.
One follow-up, if I could. Have you been happy with you've done a lot of evaluation on guys for those parameters. Have you been happy with your hit rate on the guys that you've identified that you want at the school?
Yeah, we're really happy where we are right now.